and gentlemen, it is my great honor to invite the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, friends, members of the National Science Foundation, participants at this conference, thank you so much for inviting me to be present here today and to share a few thoughts with you. I'm very grateful, and I must apologize for not being able to be here at the launch. Today is a Parliament sitting day. This week is Parliament sitting week, so it's a bit difficult for me to be away in the mornings. But I'm very happy to be here, and it feels like I'm back in my familiar environment when I'm with those of you from the research community. The National Science Foundation is no stranger to me. I've served on the editorial board of the National Science Foundation Social Science Journal for several years, and I continued to serve on it even while I was in Parliament. I had to reluctantly leave once I became Prime Minister, but it gave me a chance to keep up with the research world in Sri Lanka, even when I took to full-time politics, and I was very grateful for that opportunity. Before I start speaking about the theme of today's conference and the objectives of today's conference, I just want to say a few words about the need for research and development in our country and our government's policy in this regard, especially after what was said earlier. We are very serious about investing in R&D because we think that investing in R&D is essential for the development path that we need to take. As you know, our intention is not to keep the country going in the same direction that it has been going in for the last 75 years, but to take a new direction. And that new direction has to be based on research and evidence and data. It has to be data-driven. One of the biggest problems that we've been facing over the last several years is that in decision-making, particularly at the highest levels of decision-making, decisions were not taken based on evidence, based on data, based on science. This is something that needs to change. So the decision-making process and the research community needs to work much more closely together. The data, the evidence, the science has to inform the decisions that are made at the highest levels. And it is not just the decision-making process, but if we are to take the leap that we need to take in order to be the country that we have the potential to be, then we need to invest in innovation, we need to invest in new findings, in new technology. All of this needs to happen, and for that to happen, we have to have a robust research and development sector. Until now, investment in the R&D sector by the state has been abysmal, and that needs to change, and we are hoping to change that gradually. We won't be able to get to what we want to get to immediately, but we certainly want to start changing it. The other thing is, I think this is a challenge to the research community, to the research institutions, and to the universities of this country. I think we need to move away from the mindset that quantity equals quality. I think with the way that our systems have been developing, we have focused far too much on quantity and not enough attention and not enough resources on making sure that the quality of what we produce is also of the same, is of standard. I think this is a problem that you were also referring to when you talked about the fact that we have a bad reputation globally. I think it is not the number of journals that matter, but what is in the journals. I think we have to move away from this tendency that many of us feel that the best thing we can do is to come up with yet another journal. I don't think that's the direction we need to go in. We really need to look at improving the quality of our journals. We need to be able to match the quality of the work we do with our recruitment and promotional criteria, where it's not just the number of publications and the number of patents or the number of whatever else it is that goes into our CV, but the quality of what we produce, the quality of our articles, the quality of the innovations for which we have received patents or copyrights or whatever it is. So I think we really need to shift this conversation, and we really need to shift the direction when we talk about investing in R&D, in strengthening our R&D and strengthening the research culture within our institutions. We really now need to focus on quality. And my plea to you is, please do not let those quality standards be imposed from outside. We ourselves, and for a little moment, let me put myself into this category. We need to set those standards. We need to set the parameters for quality, because we are the ones who understand what we do and our own disciplines. Let us not try to do a kind of a cookie cutter model where we apply very technical standards for quality without taking into consideration the disciplinary specificities that each of us represent. This was a fight I had throughout my career in academia, where, as someone coming from the social sciences, we were constantly having to deal with assessment models and quality frameworks that were more suitable for hard sciences, that were just arbitrarily imposed on us. That cannot be. Each of our disciplinaries are unique, have specific methods and methodologies and philosophies that inform our work, and that needs to be reflected in the ways in which it is assessed and in the ways in which the quality of our specific disciplines are protected and enhanced. So I think we need to, especially at NSF, recognize the multidisciplinary nature of our institution. We need to make sure that all the different sciences and disciplines get equal recognition and are treated with respect, and that the uniqueness that each methodology and method and philosophy brings in to the research community is valued and taken into account. This is something I think we really need to work on, something that we really need to think about even in our research, where far little attention is paid to method and methodologies. We tend to, we don't talk enough and we don't pay enough attention to method and methodologies. We've turned that also into a very technical kind of, as if every method and every methodology can be adopted across the board. That's not so. As senior researchers, that the questions you ask and how you choose to ask those questions and how you choose how to find answers to those questions are defined differently and should be defined differently. So just to say quantitative methods and qualitative methods are the two kind of choices before us, that's a very primitive way of looking at research, in my opinion, right? So we need to move beyond, and we as the research community, I think, have a huge role to play in pushing for more rigorous models, in pushing for more rigorous ways of talking about theory, talking about method, talking about methodology, and inculcating that within the younger academic community, so that they are not victims of the kind of I would describe it as the publication mania that is currently engulfing all of us, where we just think publication is the answer to improving research. That is not so, and it shouldn't be so. That is the reason why we also have the menace of predatory journals that we have to deal with, right? And predatory conferences, research conferences that keep coming up, where you can present where the quality is not what is important, but just the fact that you went there and you presented something. So I think, again, my appeal to you is to please focus on improving quality, on becoming much more rigorous in the work that we do, and making sure that we are not left behind in the global conversations and the changes that are taking place with regard to these subjects, so that we do not, and we are not any longer considered the poor cousins or the the backward race in this conversation and in this global research community. Now let me get to the formal part of my speech. That was more response to what I heard earlier. It is an honor to address you today at the NSF Digital Library Conference 2024. This event stands as a testament to Sri Lanka's commitment to advancing digital learning, innovation, and the seamless integration of technology into our education and research sectors. As we gather here today, we are not just discussing technological advancements, but also exploring the very pathways that will lead Sri Lanka into a future of economic prosperity, educational excellence, and global competitiveness. Most importantly, as a government, we feel that we need to look at technology and how technology can help us bridge inequalities in accessing and sharing information. The theme of this conference, Digital Libraries and the Future of Research and Education, aligns with the government's broader vision of digital transformation in Sri Lanka. It reflects the critical role that digital tools and platforms play in making education more inclusive, accessible, and aligned with the global and national goals for development. The future of education and research in Sri Lanka is firmly anchored in the power of digital technologies. As we move forward, we must focus on creating innovative digital ecosystems that empower our academic and research institutions to thrive in this digital age. Education is the foundation of national progress. We firmly believe this, and this is why transformations within the education sector is a huge priority for us. And the digital era provides an unprecedented opportunity to ensure that no one is left behind. Again, an extremely important principle for how our government is organized, that no one is left behind. From school children to researchers, our efforts to integrate digital literacy into education reflect our commitment to empowering all citizens, irrespective of gender, socioeconomic status, language, or geographic location, to thrive in the digital economy. A critical component of Sri Lanka's digital transformation has been the invaluable contributions of the National Science Foundation. As a key player in advancing the digital infrastructure for research and higher education, the NSF has been instrumental in developing and maintaining digital information platforms that serve the academic and research communities. The NSF's role in enhancing the digital library and information sharing ecosystem in Sri Lanka has also led to the creation of platforms that provide access to scientific publications, journals, and academic resources that are essential for the advancement of knowledge in higher education and research. Through these efforts, the NSF has enabled institutions and individuals across Sri Lanka to access the latest research, collaborate on international projects, and contribute to global bodies of knowledge. The NSF Digital Library platform serves as a hub for both current and emerging research, offering a seamless gateway to a wealth of digital resources. This has significantly contributed to bridging the digital divide between urban and rural institutions, ensuring that universities, research centers, and individual scholars from every corner of the country have the hope, at least, of accessing world-class information and resources. This digital infrastructure supports the government's commitment to building a knowledge-based economy. The collaboration between the NSF, universities, research institutions, and the private sector is helping to shape a digital research ecosystem that fosters innovation, facilitates international collaboration, and drives scientific discovery. We must also acknowledge the transformative power of digital libraries in enhancing research and development in Sri Lanka. Digital libraries are not merely repositories of knowledge, they are catalysts for innovation, fostering collaboration and enabling research to thrive in a digital-first world. In line with the theme of this conference, we are focused on ensuring that Sri Lanka's digital libraries serve as comprehensive platforms that support researchers and students across diverse fields. The NSF Digital Library Initiative stands as a prime example of how digital platforms can enhance access to critical knowledge, facilitate collaboration among researchers, and contribute to the development of a competitive, knowledge-driven economy. Digital libraries not only provide access to academic journals, books, and research papers, but also offer platforms for storing and sharing research data, for all publications and scholarly work. This has enabled our research community to publish their findings, share resources with global institutions, and participate in international projects. The Sri Lanka Journal online platform has become a hub for scholarly exchange, supporting the development of cutting-edge research in sectors like agriculture, engineering, technology, and healthcare. And I noticed we haven't said social science there, and I'm particularly worried about that. Furthermore, as we continue to strengthen these platforms, the goal is to increase the availability of local Sri Lankan research to the world. The Sri Lankan Journal online platform enables journals to be indexed and shared globally, promoting Sri Lanka's contributions to global research in various disciplines. We aim to ensure that digital platforms are not just tools for accessing knowledge, but also for creating and sharing knowledge within the world. The digital transformation of Sri Lanka's research and education sectors is not solely about providing access to information. It is about creating a connected and dynamic ecosystem where knowledge can be exchanged, new ideas can be generated, and innovative solutions can be developed. We recognize that in a world increasingly driven by data, research, and technological advancement, Sri Lanka must ensure that our academic institutions, research centers, and libraries are equipped with the infrastructure and support they need to thrive in the digital age. The work being done by the NSF to develop digital information platforms, support libraries, and foster academic collaboration is vital to this mission. Moreover, we are aligning our efforts with digital global trends. As part of our national policy on digital transformation, we are working to integrate new technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain into our education and research ecosystems. The aim is not only to modernize our infrastructure, but to create new opportunities for innovation, economic development, and global collaboration in fields like education, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. The digital economy is an essential part of our broader vision for national growth and development. As part of the NPP digital policy, you may have noticed, we have set a target of $15 billion in annual digital economic output by 2030. A key pillar in achieving this goal is the expansion and strengthening of the digital services sector. Our educational and research institutions must play a central role in this transformation by fostering skills in emerging technologies and by driving research that leads to commercial and societal innovations. By expanding university curricula to include subjects such as digital technologies, cybersecurity, and AI, and by supporting R&D initiatives through digital platforms, we are ensuring that Sri Lanka's academic and research sectors are well positioned to meet the demands of the digital economy. These efforts are critical for building an economy that is capable of competing on the global stage. This is our goal for the country. In all these efforts, we recognize the importance of gender inclusivity. And I'm particularly highlighting this today when the Women's Caucus in the Parliament, in the 10th Parliament, shared these orange bracelets as part of our initiative to end gender-based violence during these 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. As we forge ahead into the digital future, it is vital that we ensure equal access to the opportunities provided by digital technologies for all citizens, irrespective of gender. In particular, efforts should be made to bridge the gender gap in STEM fields, where women and marginalized groups often remain underrepresented. Technology and digitalization in and of itself will be of little benefit unless the specificities of particular socio-cultural and political economic contexts are taken into account. Innovation, connection, collaboration, knowledge economy, all of these cannot simply be rhetoric or just concepts or words that we use. We need to move beyond that rhetoric, and in order to move beyond that rhetoric, we need to have a realistic grasp of the context within which we operate and within which these new developments need to take place. And this is where I firmly believe the social sciences have a major role to play, and one that we have neglected over the years. As we look into the future, it is essential that we continue to foster collaboration between the government, the private sector, academic institutions, and also the communities from which we come and the communities which need to eventually benefit from all of this. The NSF's work on developing digital platforms for education and research is a prime example of how we can work together to build a thriving digital ecosystem. Our digital libraries and research platforms will continue to serve as a foundation for knowledge creation and exchange, driving Sri Lanka's innovation agenda forward. At the same time, it is critical that our digital transformation efforts remain inclusive, ensuring that every citizen, regardless of their position or place in society, has access to the tools and resources needed to participate in the digital economy. Through continued investment in digital infrastructure, digital literacy programs, and innovative platforms like those supported by the NSF, we will ensure that Sri Lanka remains at the forefront of the digital age. The NSF Digital Library Conference 2024 is an important milestone in Sri Lanka's journey towards a digital future. As we continue to develop and expand our infrastructure, I am confident that Sri Lanka will emerge as a leader in the digital economy, one that is not only digitally connected, but also digitally empowered, driving innovation and improving the quality of life for all our citizens. No one left behind. That is the motto by which we want to work, and we think that the digital world, the technological advancements and the hope offered by the digital world can play a huge role in making sure that no one is left behind. Thank you very much.